Hi everyone, how's it going? As I'm recording this, it's my birthday, and as usual, I've celebrated it at home. I haven't done anything too big because, there was that wake from my granddad, so, I don't think anybody would have done anything big anyway, and even without the wake, nobody would have done anything big. I just wanted to talk to everyone, and first of all, I wanted to say thanks for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate everybody coming out and wishing me a happy birthday. That was really well appreciated. But I just wanted to be vulnerable today, because even though I'm still getting attacked in the chest by the gang stalkers, I've still got perps breaking into my house, I've still got perps doing the whole fucking, I don't know what they're doing, like just taunting or whatever. I don't care. The reason I actually came online to talk was to talk about something that I've talked about before, but I have more of an understanding of it now, and I just wanted to share it with somebody in the hopes that all of you know what's going on. Now, I spoke about this like quite a few times before on my channel, about me being BPD and ADHD, and I suspect that I have autism as well. And on top of that, the way my neurodivergence manifests is in me being hyperverbal. Now, I've talked about taking a break with my tarot readings, but online content has also been thin on the ground, because without my tarot readings, and with my gang stalkers just being like really predictable and just not worth talking about, it leaves me without much online content to create. And I'm starting to notice that my hyperverbalism is coming out. Now, this is the thing about me, right? Because I'm hyperverbal, it's often been misdiagnosed and misinterpreted by everyone as paranoid schizophrenia. It's not paranoid schizophrenia. When you're hyperverbal, it's the simplest way that I can put it, particularly like really, really bad hyperverbal neurodivergence. The best way that I can describe it is if your brain is playing on a sound system. That's the closest thing that I can use to describe what what the most challenging part of my trauma-based conditions are. It's the fact that my thoughts are on stereo. And sometimes I can say things that sound really dumb in the moment, but the truth of the matter is that when I get hyperverbal like that and my thoughts come out loud, I know what's going on. Like, I know that I'm on my own. I know that there's no one there. I know that, it's just me by myself. But when my thoughts are particularly out of control, it's actually generated by emotion. I'm not there when I'm imagining these things and when I'm saying these things out loud. I'm not actually there. And I know that cognitively. I'm not there. It's just that the thoughts are so loud. I think anxiety comes into that when your thoughts are really loud, that it just needs somewhere to go. And unfortunately, it goes into hyperverbalism. It can be very distressing for people to deal with. A lot of my perps have had to deal with that for years, even though I don't feel sorry for many of my perps. A lot of my perps have had to deal with that for years. It's something that they have had to endure as well as me. So whilst I don't feel sorry for them, and I in no way am defending anything that they've done, for normal people, hyperverbal neurodivergence can be extremely distressing to deal with, especially when the hyperverbal person is extremely stressed or extremely bored. It can be very, very difficult for people to deal with. So it's, I don't make excuses for people being bigoted or people being disrespectful. I will never make excuses for that, and I will never give them the grace or the benefit of the doubt with that one, because at the end of the day, it's bad enough when normal people are bigoted, let alone perps using it as part of a trafficking program to kill you. Like, part of that is using your mental health illness, or part of that is using your mental illness and using the trauma responses like hyperverbalism against you. So I don't feel sorry for perps in the slightest, but it is very distressing for people on the other end of it because they don't know what's going on. So for years, I've been kind of keeping a lid on it. I've kind of been taking my cues from, I don't know, it's just that, like, I'm a bit more animated. The way I deal with my hyperverbalism is that I'm a bit more animated when I'm watching TV. I will comment on it out loud or what have you, like more than I should. And I know that it's more than I should, but I do that to kind of, it's like, I do that to kind of immunize myself from going the whole way and having my thoughts on speaker for hours on end. So it's like, I'll comment on the TV or on a movie a little bit more than I should, just to immunize myself from like doing this for hours. Do you understand what I mean? So I tend to do that. And also prayer helps a lot. I'm not going to hold you. I do pray. I'm not a Christian. I'm not, I'm not religious in any way, but I think, you see, I've moisturized my skin. So there we go. Yeah. So, hold on. So I do pray. Prayer helps. And singing helps. Like ADHD is when, you can burst into a song at random moments. So singing helps. Prayer helps. Writing stuff in a journal, that can help too. But then sometimes that can get boring as well. So singing helps. Prayer helps. Like sometimes if I feel too tired to write my thoughts down, and if it feels a bit too time consuming to do that, sometimes I'll record myself. I'll record myself in a sort of audio journal. And the reason I do that is because I used to do that online. I used to treat my online presence as a video diary, but then I just got tired of that. And I'm sure that, a lot of people out there are kind of sick of people going online and overexposing themselves at every opportunity. So journaling, singing, praying. Even if my singing sounds bad, I still sing. That's why the attacks have been so frequent on my chest and lungs lately, to make my singing sound bad so I won't feel confident enough to sing. But singing is not about confidence. It was never about confidence. As long as you're expressing yourself creatively, you can get the hyperverbalism under control. It just has to be like, the weird thing is that when it comes to your mental illnesses, when it comes to neurodivergence, I feel like neurodivergence and mental illness are different. I feel like BPD is mental illness caused by trauma, but ADHD is neurodivergence because it's not an illness, it's a disorder, right? So when you're dealing with neurodivergence or mental illness, the best thing to do when you have these things is to let a little bit of the illness show itself. And listen, I know how this sounds, because as targeted individuals in particular, we're taught not to do that. As normal people, we're taught to, it's not said, but it's implied. As normal people, we're taught to reduce or limit or like completely hide our illness altogether. That's what we're taught to do. But what I found is that when you repress your illness, at some point you will go too far in repressing your illness. And when that happens, you will kind of blow up on people. You blow up on the people you love, or you will implode and hurt yourself. So it's good to let a little bit of the illness out. Like when you have neurodivergence, it's good to express like just a tiny bit of it. Even like a medium-sized bit of it, like expose some of your illness. Let some of your illness express itself, because you'll be very surprised at what it gravitates towards in order to heal itself. Sometimes in order to understand your illness and treat your illness effectively, you have to let it express itself for a bit. Like give it little windows in which to move through. Give it little spaces in which to move through instead of repressing it completely. And that's what I tried to do today. But this is one of the days, like my birthday, man, I was bored and I had no one here. So as much as I completely enjoyed myself in some moments, like there were a lot of moments today where I enjoyed myself and I had a lot of fun, even though I was by myself, because I'm an introvert. So I have a lot of fun on my own. I do laugh a lot on my own. I can't lie. I do still, even after everything that's happened. I do laugh a lot. But it has been a struggle, you know. Today is one of those days where it's been a struggle. There have been things that reminded me of my childhood, and it put me back in the mind of a child, you know, a hyperverbal child that had their thoughts on loudspeaker. Do you understand what I mean? So, yeah, it's very difficult. But creativity, this is why I'm so creative. It's not because I need to be, you know, showboating or what have you. It's because I just need an outlet for the neurodivergence and the illness. I need an outlet for the results of the trauma that I've been subjected to. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I don't think for 1 second that I'm alone in that. I think most of us, if not all of us, have some kind of antisocial personality disorder or neurodivergence. I don't think there's anybody out there who's truly mentally healthy. Mentally adjusted, sure, but like mentally healthy is a very different enterprise. I don't think there's very many of us in the world at all that is mentally healthy, that are mentally healthy. No, I just don't. I don't think so. And I think what's wrong with the world is that there's so much repression going on. You know, that only a handful of people know how to navigate that, and it's designed that way. But if you learn how to let a little bit of your flaws out, let a little bit of yourself out, you will find that that's one way you can treat your illness, by letting a little bit of they're attacking my throat and chest again. By letting a little bit of the illness out, by letting a little bit of it out, you can, you know, you can navigate the world a little bit better. And you can handle yourself better. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's one of the reasons I came online today. I'm gonna get myself a drink. Another year older, wiser, maybe. I mean, I think this video showed that I've gained at least some wisdom. Let me get a drink. Seeing as these perps want to attack my throat. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, just making myself a lemon and limeade. So this is lime. Lemon. It's good vitamin C. I put a lot in there actually. I put a lot in one glass. Honey, I put a lot of that in there as too. So I'm just going to put some honey in this. Helps with the throat. Sorry, it's a mess back there. Yeah. So that's what gangstalkers like to do. That's what the perps like to do now. I just have to wait it out until they get bored and do something else. Because this is the thing about gangstalking, right? Okay. This is the thing about gangstalking. They like to fixate on a particular body part to see what gets the most emotional reaction or the most physical illness. And if they feel like it's unsatisfactory, then they move on to something else. That's the way they like to do it. Let me just see. Okay. Come with me. Oh. Yeah, so yeah, it's what they like to do. They like to, the people handling the electronic weapons like to make me cough now when I get online so that they can discourage me from speaking. I don't. It's just, it's just the more you talk about what they do, this is the thing. When you really unpack everything that the perps do to you and everything that the electronic torturers do to you just to get a reaction, if I was to list everything that everyone has ever done to me under this program, it is absolutely horrific. And I'm like one of the milder cases of target in here. If I was to list everything that was being done to me, you know, objectively, it would be horrific. It would be absolutely horrific. But being in the situation, the more you get used to the torture and the more you get used to saying the same thing, is the more you realize how pathetic your torturers are, your murderers are. You're like, you really start to understand how miserable these people are and how soulless they are. And when you realize that, the impact of their behavior, it becomes so lessened that you just look at everything they do as just absolutely ridiculous. Even though they're murdering you, even though they're torturing you, you really start to see how small these people are and how miserable they are. And once you see that, it's just like, even when they really, really hurt you, you almost feel sorry for them. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing that they want to, like, fire on your genitals for a laugh. It's embarrassing. You have to wonder about the mindset of somebody like that. It's embarrassing when people keep taunting you for minding your business. It's embarrassing when people are genuinely upset that you're happy. Not even that you're being a nuisance, but just that you're happy. it gets to a point where you start to see people for what they are, especially when they try to paint everything that you do as crazy or violent. It gets desperate. Do you understand what I mean? It gets desperate. And that's when you start to really understand, you know what, they're like, you might be a flawed person, but you ain't that fucking flawed. And I'm not even just talking about the way they treat you. I'm not even just talking about who the perps are. I'm talking about the flaws that you have as a human being and how you're being treated. They don't match. After a while, you just start to see, like, this is just not, it doesn't make any sense. You know? And when I was really hurt by the gang stalkers, when I was hurt by the things that they said and the things that they did to me, rather than just being mildly annoyed, when I was like really, really hurt by them, I used to say, oh, you know, they're pathetic, they're weak, they're this, they're that, because they made me feel pathetic. They made me feel weak. So I wanted to project it onto them. But now that I've had more time to really think about the implications historically, culturally, societally, like all of that. When I really start to think about the significance of gang stalking, where it comes from, why it's being done, how it's being done, who's doing it, why they're doing it. When I start to think about the bigger picture, and that bigger picture becomes clearer as time unfolds, you know, now I can say they're pathetic, they're miserable, they're weak, and it doesn't have the same meaning. It doesn't have the same meaning. I can say that not because I feel that way, but because I'm clearly perceiving what's going on. Sorry, my ears. Oh, my ears doing all kinds of nonsense. But yeah, it's just, you start to understand that the smallness that you accused the perps of having out of hurt, it was accurate. It's just that you didn't believe it at the time because you felt small. But now it is incredibly small. It is incredibly small. You literally are part of a program that has its roots in slavery or in protecting like slavers' property, meaning people. You know, gang stalking has roots in slavery. It has roots in racism and misogyny and homophobia, roots in fascism, roots in like all that type of shit. And the only thing that the perps have to respond to you is, yeah, well, you said this and it was embarrassing. I'm like, okay. The only thing the perps have to respond to you with is something small that doesn't matter. I can laugh too loud. Did I traffic somebody with that? Does me laughing too loud have roots in enslaving people? Does me, you know, screaming, crying for my mother after she died, like, does that have roots in like fucking murdering people and shit? No, of course it doesn't. Like, it's nothing. But they make nothing into something, and that's how they wear you down. That's how they age you. That's how they drain you. They make something out of fucking nothing. And the whole time they're doing that for the purpose of just burning this whole world to the ground so that white people can rule. That is all this is for. I don't care what color the perps are. That's what they're doing this for. Even if they don't think they're doing that. They want to do all this so that one race of people can rule a whole ball of ash by themselves. Miss me with the bullshit. Miss me with the bullshit. That's why I can't take them seriously. I can't. Too much. There's too much that I know, and there's too much that's happened. But yeah, hyperverbalism. It is a bitch. You know, going on tangents and shit. But anyway, I gotta go. I think I got about 40 minutes left of my birthday. And then it's bank holiday Monday. So let's see what happens there. Today's been good, I can't lie. It's not what I wanted, but I definitely made the best of it. Hopefully I'll have the courage to actually go for what I want in spite of the gangstalkers. But let's see. I love you guys so much, my fellow TIs. If you made it to this far in the video, let me know how you guys are doing. I always want to know. And yeah, peace and blessings. Bye-bye, my loves.